Hello, Cancer. This is your yearly 2019 extensive horoscope with me, Marina. And today we are going to talk about so many interesting, exciting events. I'm really happy. I'm also a Cancer ascendant, so I'm personally interested in everything that we are going to talk about. I'm really excited. And I also believe that the year can be extremely positive. We are going to discuss, first of all, the most important indications. We are going to start with Jupiter and Saturn, the two social planets, which are also very strong during 2019. We are going to talk about the lunar nodes and the eclipses during the whole year. And of course, the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These are the fundamental things. These are the most important indications which really define our fate, the most important events. After we discuss this, we are going to talk about the details related to Mars and the transits of Mars, also the Sun, the two fire planets. And we are going to discuss Mercury retrograde, the periods that we are all kind of afraid, we are expecting, we want to prepare for. So we will talk with concrete dates and areas of life that we need to be more careful with. And at the end, we have the most pleasant part, the transits of Venus, which will show us the most positive periods regarding different areas, how to plan our vacations or celebrations or entertainment, or also how to improve our relationship life and so on. Also, by the end, at the very end, we are going to talk about some concrete lucky aspect combinations. So stay with me. We have many things to talk about. It will take a while, but I think that you will find a lot of helpful information which will make you more prepared for 2019. And also, let me remind you that the 2019 astrology calendar is ready. In this calendar, you will find basically everything that you need. Heliacal phases of the planets describing visibility and invisibility of planets. Also, the exact aspects, the major aspects between planets and their interpretation, ingressions of planets, lunations, and other interesting information. So, if you would like to be prepared and get yourself the copy of the 2019 calendar, you can find the link below the video. Now, let's dive into 2019. First of all, numerologically, the year equals 3. 3 in astrology is the number which is associated with Jupiter, the great benefactor, the most positive planet, the planet of success and prosperity and abundance. So, as you can guess, this is a great starting point. Jupiter rules the whole year, generally speaking. And on top of that, also Jupiter is extremely strong during the whole year because it is in Sagittarius, the sign of its rulership. So, first of all, Jupiter has this incredible control over the whole year. And second of all, it has a very beneficial influence because of the positive, strong sign position. So that's why we are going to start with the transit of Jupiter, because generally we say the year can be successful, the year can be, can provide opportunities, but for every person, this might be related to different area. And for us who have Sun or Ascendant in Cancer, by the way, the video is relative for both Sun and Ascendant in Cancer, especially if your Ascendant is in Cancer like me. Then for us, the transit Jupiter will affect sixth house during this year. Basically, until December 2019, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, then it will move to Capricorn. Okay, so sixth house, one of those houses that I think sometimes, neglect or forget or don't like or don't pay enough attention. I personally have a lot of experience with sixth house because I have 5 planets there. And I remember when I started learning astrology and specifically learning about sixth house, all I found was, work and responsibilities, but also serving other people, doing things for other people. And it sounded a little bit strange to me. Well, what does it mean that I have to be a servant or something like that? It took a time before I understand what exactly it means. And actually, serving people means helping, supporting them. It doesn't mean that you have to depend on them. It doesn't mean that they have to control you. So during this year, of course, we can be successful in work. One of the main meanings of sixth house is work, career, anything related to our responsibilities and obligations. So we might be more focused on this area. We may feel more positive about this area. We might be braver to take action. But speaking about serving other people, I think that we shouldn't forget also that we are going to benefit more or to be more successful personally by serving others. It means to, provide the best service that you can for your clients, for example, or to do your job in the best possible way, like it would be, the main ad for your work, for example. So try to give your best, because Jupiter in Sagittarius is generous. It provides a lot of positive energy. And it also means that we have to be very generous in our work, in what we are doing. Uh, for example, not everyone is working. Let's say that you are staying at home, taking care of your children, or you may still be a student. Sixth house is also important for you. It doesn't mean that you won't feel the impact of this transit. As we said, sixth house represents us taking care of others. So if you're a staying at home mom, for example, it means that you may really enjoy taking care of your family, of your children, and so on. If you're a student, or even if we're talking about a small kid, then sixth house plays out as the education area. Basically, that's where the main responsibility of this child or student are. So if you're not working, it doesn't mean that Jupiter in sixth house won't affect you. And actually, for people who are not working but would like to go back to work or find another job, of course, this is one of the most positive aspects that you can have, because Jupiter will bring you opportunities, and probably more than one. And probably it would be something that will, bring you the opportunity also for growth. Other people might be promoted or may start their own business. Basically, taking the initiative, doing things without fear, expanding your area of influence as well. These are some of the best things that you can do with Jupiter in sixth house. And the best part, I think, is that you will also enjoy the process. You may have, a more positive attitude when it comes to your responsibilities. It may not be such a burden. It may not be so overwhelming, for example. You may find a way to improve the situation, or circumstances might be changed, or, for different people, there might be different scenarios. But the bottom line is that we can all improve things in terms of career and responsibilities. And again, I would like to remind you that sixth house is also about serving other people, about supporting, about providing for others. So if you want to improve your life, first you have to give to others. I think that's a general rule, but specifically for this case, it's very important. Also, sixth house is related to another important life area. It's related to our health. So if you have had some challenges in terms of your health and your condition and so on, Jupiter in sixth house may help you to solve the issues, maybe to find another therapy, to find a better doctor or something which will help you to generally improve your health. So also basically maybe the most important area in life, because if you're not healthy, you can't be happy, or it's really difficult. So during this 1 year, I think that we can all pay attention to our health and try to improve it with our own efforts. Sometimes the challenge might be that people may have an increased appetite. It sounds strange, but Jupiter brings abundance, and it also brings abundance of desires. And sixth house represents not also our health, but also our diet, our nutrition plan. And sometimes people with Jupiter transiting their sixth house may notice an increased appetite, which can lead to gaining weight. So that's one of the possible challenges with this transit, and I think that we should be aware of. So let me see also what we can say. Another thing which can be improved by Jupiter in sixth house is communication with coworkers. This area is also ruled by sixth house. So, for example, conflicts might be solved, or you may notice that your colleagues are more willing to support you or to help you, or the general atmosphere is improved. So, generally, life and specifically work actually is better. It brings you opportunities, brings you happiness, brings you abundance. Also, I want to remind you that Jupiter is great. Jupiter can really bring you gifts and rewards. But if you don't take advantage of those opportunities, they will, disappear. So it's important also to, to use or to go with the flow in the positive way, of course, and to take action. So if you have a new job opportunity, don't wait. Don't think that, this opportunity will be available forever. Take action. Or if you have dreamed of starting your own business and you have, postponed it for years, now with Jupiter in sixth house, it's recommended to take action, because if we are completely passive, then even Jupiter won't be able to help us. So don't forget this, that we can use the support of the stars or the planets, but we still need to do what's required from us. Okay, so next we can talk about Saturn, the other social planet, which is also in the sign of its rulership, Capricorn. By the way, something great is that the two social planets are both in the signs of their rulerships. When the planet is in the sign that it rules naturally, it's able to provide you the best that it can offer. That's why we are so happy about Jupiter, because it can be even more beneficial. About Saturn, it can be more demanding when it is in Capricorn. But at the same time, Saturn is about responsibility, about security and stability. So these are also things that we can expect from Saturn. And this year, during 2019, Saturn is in seventh house, the opposite sign, Capricorn, the opposite of Cancer. To be honest with you, not Capricorn, but Saturn generally is not our best friend. When we have opposing signs like Cancer and Capricorn, usually there is some kind of conflict. Not usually, always, there is certain conflict. At the same time, the signs represent similar things, but from a different perspective. So, for example, when we talk about Cancer and Capricorn, both of the signs are related to our material reality from a different perspective. They are related for our need to be safe, to be secure, to be stable in this outer material world. Cancer and the moon represent more the small world around us. Saturn and Capricorn represent the social world or the bigger world around us. So, during 2019, Saturn is in the opposing sign Capricorn. So for some of us, this might be a testing period, especially if you have your Sun or Ascendant between those degrees here, the 12th and the 22nd. These are the exact degrees that Saturn will go through. Actually, we can give some orbits, let's say 1-2 degrees before and after, but for the Sun 2, for the Ascendant 1. And if you have this opposition between Saturn and your Sun, it means that this is some kind of testing period, especially in terms of communication with other people. It doesn't necessarily mean, for example, separations or something terrible. It means that Saturn will test your relationship with other people. And there might be some kind of crisis, but if the relationship is real, if the relationship is stable, actually Saturn will make it even more stable. And generally, that's true for every planet, for Saturn, for the outer planets. They only destroy things which are not stable, things which, shouldn't stay in our lives. For example, having Uranus squaring your sun or the cusp of your seventh house doesn't necessarily mean that you will be divorced or that you will separate with a partner. It means that you will go through some kind of testing period, that you need to go through some kind of changes. But before we move to Uranus, just let's go back to Saturn. Saturn in seventh house requires from us to be much more serious about our relationships with other people. First of all, of course, our personal relationships. If you are married, if you are in a long-term relationship, then it means that from one side, Saturn can bring some kind of distance. That's completely possible. Saturn usually, makes people more closed, more, sometimes separated emotionally. But on the other hand, Saturn will also bring you the need to have more stability in your relationship. And for some people, this may even be time when they can decide to get married. Marriage is something which is ruled by Saturn. It sounds strange. We think that marriage is only, Venus and love and the moon, which is not true. Just something quickly, which doesn't have to do something with the yearly forecast, but just to show you how important Saturn it is about relationships. In one of the, actually the main method for rectification of birth time, when we use marriage as an event to define the right time of the birth of the person, Saturn is the planet which shows us whether marriage is possible or not. There are other requirements. Venus would be positive to have an aspect. The ruler of seventh house is also required. But if you don't have an aspect between Saturn and the cusp of your 10th house or 7th house, marriage is not possible. And that's why also Saturn triggering your 7th house in the transits, let's say transiting the house, making aspect with the cusp of the house or with the ruler of the house, can bring marriage. Especially if you have already been in a relationship with someone. Usually, if you're starting a brand new relationship, with Saturn in 7th house, things can move too slow. You may feel like, you're a little bit stuck in this area, things are not moving forward. But if you have been in a relationship for a very long time, Saturn may bring you actually possible marriage. Of course, you need to search for other indications, but that's one really important indication. Okay, Saturn in 7th house can also be important for business partnerships. If you are working together with another person, Saturn actually can make things more serious. For some people, this might be a separation. For others, it can make the relationship or the partnership even more serious. And Saturn has actually connection with business in general. So for business, this transit might be positive. Now, another thing that we need to discuss is that also the South Node is in Capricorn in 7th house together with Saturn. And this is very, very important. The South Node is related to, basically is considered to have a similar influence like Saturn, by the way, which means that it shows area where we need to give up from something, area where we shouldn't focus so much, where we might be tested, where usually it's not so easy to grow or to achieve new things. On the other hand, the North Node represents the opposite. It has a similar influence like Jupiter, which means that if you focus on this area, you can grow, you can be more successful, you can receive things, you can build up new things. So in our situation during 2019, Saturn and the South Node are in 7th house, but the North Node is in first house. So the main lesson here is that we need to be more independent. We need to learn or focus on relying more on ourselves. Seventh house is not only related to your partner, but also in some way makes you dependent on others. On the other hand, first house represents your personality, what you are doing. So one of the most important things during this year is to learn to be more independent, to rely on your own, to be the initiator of the things that you want to achieve. And actually, when we have an axis between two houses, like first and seventh house, which are opposing to each other, first house cannot exist without seventh house. So we cannot, disappear on an island and decide what we want to do without, neglecting everyone else. But it means that when we are communicating with other people, when we are facing with seventh house, with someone else, a partner, or a group of people who are close to you, you have to be the leader. You have to initiate things. You have to define the rules. For some people, it will come easier. For others, it will be more challenging, of course, depending on your personality. But the main thing that you should do is to rely on yourself, on your own, to take action, to focus on your personal desires, not to care so much about others, not to care so much for their opinion, and to neglect yourself and your own needs, but to take action, to take personal initiative, and to take responsibility. I think that if you focus on that, you will notice that you will be much more successful during 2019. And if I have to summarize two things for Cancer in 2019, I would say, first of all, focus on yourself, on taking action, doing things, and your independence, first house. And think what you can do also to serve others, not to depend on them, not to, do what they want you to, but think about how you can take the initiative and support other people, and of course focus on work and responsibilities. If you follow those two advices, I'm sure that the year will be much more successful for you. Okay, so speaking about the nodes, we also need to mention the eclipses during 2019. The eclipses are, of course, in those signs. They include the lunar nodes and a new moon or a full moon, which is in conjunction with the nodes. And that's why those events are so special. They are considered to be karmic because of the connection with the nodes. And the first one is actually at the beginning of the year on the 5th of January. We have the first solar eclipse, 16 degrees in Capricorn, which falls, of course, in seventh house. Pay attention if you have a cusp of a house close to this degree, or maybe another planet. It shows that the event will be even more significant for you. And generally, it means that also it includes the south node. So we need to focus on this area, relationships, other people, our partners, but at the same time, it's positive to give up from something. When we have the South Node and also Saturn, we're talking about certain change, certain separation. So my advice is to take a conscious decision, to take a personal decision. What is it that you can separate with? Maybe it's for some people, this might be actually an unhealthy or toxic relationship, which might be terminated. But for other people, this might be their behavior and how, for example, they're not taking care of themselves because they want to, make the other person happy. So the main focus is on relationships. Next, we have a lunar eclipse on the 21st of January. Now, here the situation is interesting because the nodes are still in Capricorn and Cancer, but the moon and the sun will be in Leo and Aquarius in the first degree, in the very first degree, which falls in second and eighth house. So here we have a mixture between first and seventh and second and eighth house. And here the interpretation is more challenging, actually, to say something which is, general and true for all of us. It's very important to find out what's going on in your chart during this time. But first and seventh house represents our interaction with other people personally, and eighth and second house represent energetically an exchange of things with other people, including money, including emotions. So these are the things that need to be balanced. We may feel, for example, certain conflict between our own desires and what other people want, or financially, we may also feel that there needs to be a change. Definitely more complicated combination. After that, during the summer, July the 2nd, we have a solar eclipse, which includes the North Node, the more positive node. The exact degree is 11 degrees Cancer. Of course, if your ascendant is somewhere close to this degree, the eclipse will be very, very important for you. And of course, it means that the main focus is on you, on your personality, on what you are doing, your independence, your initiative. So, as you can guess, one of the most important eclipses that we can possibly have. And keep in mind that it takes 18 years and a half for the lunar nodes to cross the whole zodiac. So the next time that the lunar nodes will be in these signs, North Node in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn, will be after 18 years. So quite impressive period, and it's really putting the focus on you and your actions. After that, we have another lunar eclipse on the 16th of July, 24 degrees Capricorn Cancer. Again, we have the South Node here. Similar situation. Actually, no, it's not similar because here we have Leo and Aquarius. But in one way or another, we still need to balance our own desires and what other people want from us. So relationship, our personality, how we interact with partners, with others is very important. For some people, this might be the time when they can realize an important truth about their relationship. Some people may realize that they prefer to be, single, but definitely some serious changes can be expected in our personal life. And the last solar eclipse on the 26th of December. Eclipse in 5 degrees Capricorn. Again, 7th house. Again, South Node. So, similar situation with the one at the beginning of the year. We may need to separate with certain relationship or to change something about this relationship, or generally partnerships might be a very, very important area which may go through serious changes. Okay, so let's see. Next we have the outer planets. I always repeat that, but I won't miss to repeat it right now again because it's so important. The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are the one which can change your life completely. Not for everyone, because they are moving really slow. As you can see, they will go through between 3 and 9 degrees through the whole year. So it's important whether one of those planets will make exact aspects with the cusp of a house or certain planet. And if that's the case, then this will be the major event for the year, the most important. So pay attention, and you may even start from here. Find out whether, for example, Uranus will square your sun or ascendant. And it can be the case if you have your sun or ascendant in the last degrees of Cancer. At the beginning of the year, Uranus is on the 28th degree in Aries. After that, during March, it enters Taurus, and by the end of the year, it will be on the 7th degree in Taurus. So if you have your sun or ascendant here, 27 degrees, 28, 29, and 30 degree, then Uranus will square your ascendant or sun. This is a challenging aspect, and from one side could be quite stressful. Can bring unexpected events, can bring stress, and sometimes, drastic changes. But at the same time, this is a transit which can set you free from something. For example, let's say that you have neglected certain need for a very long time. Now you may feel so frustrated that finally you can make the change that you have wanted for so long. Or let's say that you have been on a job that is so routine that you are completely bored, and you are so unhappy, but it's stable. You think that something better will come without serious efforts. Uranus in 10th house squaring the sun or your ascendant may suddenly bring the situation which will push you to find something better. And yes, while you're experiencing the transit, especially at the beginning, it might be quite difficult. But at the end of the transit, you will notice that you are a completely different person, and actually you may have much more freedom. One of the key things that Uranus requires is freedom. Freedom, independency, variety, changes, excitement, interesting experiences. So, in a little bit stressful way, you may have all of this. Sometimes people may change completely, they may do so strange things, so untypical things for themselves when Uranus squares their sun or ascendant. Uranus squared my stellium. I have a stellium in Capricorn, and it happened a couple of years ago. And I can share a personal experience. It was really stressful, but at the same time, I made so many important and positive changes in my life. So it really depends on how you're using the energy. And this is a transit which can, lead you to another level. So pay attention. If you have one of those aspects, you won't miss it. You will know what it's all about. And after March, Uranus enters Taurus and 11th house. And by the end of the year, it will go to the 7th degree in Taurus, which means that if you have your sun or ascendant in the first 7 degrees in Cancer, let's say if you are, the June born Cancers and the one with the degree in the first, the ascendant in the first degrees, then Uranus actually will make a sextile with your sun or ascendant, which is also an aspect which can bring changes and excitement and variety, but in a softer way, much harmonious, much easier way. So for many Cancers, this Uranus transit might be quite important. The next outer planet, Neptune. Neptune is our friend during 2019. It is still in Pisces between the 14th and the 19th degree. If you have your sun or ascendant here close to those degrees, Neptune will make a supportive, positive aspect trine, which is great, which can be extremely inspiring, can help you to increase your intuition. For creativity, this is great. For spiritual work, practices, learning things, it's great also because Neptune is in ninth house. And ninth house is about our belief system. It's about our goals, for some people it's about religion. If you are not religious, then it's just what you believe in. And Neptune can help you to feel more connected with others. The positive impact of Neptune is actually really romantic, really positive. These are one of the greatest aspects. It's not an aspect which will make you, fight with things and really active or ambitious or motivated. Actually, quite the opposite. Neptune can make you really feel comfortable, feel relaxed, like you can enjoy life, like you can, for example, read positive stuff or travel, explore things, connect with the world without necessarily, fighting out there and doing a lot of stuff. And the most important part is that Neptune is our friend. Neptune will support us during the year. Again, pay attention if you have your sun or ascendant here between the 30th and 13th and the 20th degree in Pisces. And the last outer planet, Pluto. So Pluto will affect smaller part of Cancers because Pluto will be between the 20th and the 23rd degree in Capricorn. So it will make aspect with your sun or ascendant only if it is between those degrees. To tell you the truth, my ascendant is here, close to those degrees. And during this year, Pluto was on the cusp of my 7th house. And if I have to be honest, it didn't bring something horrible or something terrible or something awful. Because, you know, when we hear about Pluto, we expect something dark, we expect something traumatic or, you know, difficult. It wasn't the case. So it doesn't mean that Pluto entering your 7th house necessarily brings some dramatic events, but it makes this area very important. Relationships, partnerships, communication with others or certain audience or group of people which is important for you. And Pluto can make you more powerful. Pluto can help you to have more impact on others, on your spouse, for example, or generally on others. Or if you work with clients, you may notice that you have the ability to affect them more, to convince them to transform their lives. Of course, if you're working in this area with others. But generally, Pluto in this position, in 7th house, means that relationships are really, really important. So that's the general information. Keep in mind that, as I said, if you have one of those aspects, this will be the main topic of the whole year. And the other important part is Jupiter and Saturn. As we can see, the main focus points are relationships, our independence, and our personal actions, what we are doing, and career, work, and responsibilities. These are the most important areas for Cancer during 2019. Now, the next part that we are going to discuss is related to the transits of Mars. Okay, Mars is the planet of our personal will. So those transits are not life-changing. These are not transits which will, you know, well, cut your life in two halves. But Mars is a planet which can trigger something else, something which is, you know, triggered from another slower planet. For example, let's say Jupiter making conjunction with your, actually we won't have this. Okay, let's say Jupiter makes trine with your Sun. When Mars makes trine with this point as well, it can actually trigger the aspect and make it even stronger and more positive. And generally, the transits of Mars can show you in which area it would be better to put your efforts and to focus on. Of course, for, you know, shorter periods, approximately 1.5 months, 45 days, and you may have more energy to do stuff, to achieve things, to fight with things, to, you know, to be more independent. At the very beginning of the year, Mars is in a very important position in Aries in 10th house. 10th house is about your career, your achievements, your reputation, your communication with authority figures. So this is a great time for career projects, to start something new, something independently, to take action, to take certain risks. The challenge here is that when Mars is in 10th house, you may also confront more with other people, especially people with more power. If you have a boss or another person who is in charge of you, Mars in 10th house sometimes may provoke certain confrontations. After that, from the 14th of February until the 30th of March, Mars will be in 11th house. During this time, it would be positive to focus on some social activities, something that you can do together with others, something that may have an impact on society, or something which includes friends and groups of people. After that, during basically April and May, from the 31st of March until the 14th of May, Mars will be in 12th house in Gemini. This is a more passive period. During this time, it would be better to relax, to slow down, not to push yourself too much. You can plan some things. You can, work on some personal stuff. But for social projects, this is not the most beneficial period. When Mars is in your 12th house, you may feel like other people are not paying enough attention to your efforts, or you don't have enough energy to achieve everything that you want. And the reason is because, this is a time when you need to recharge yourself. So don't push yourself too hard, and it would be better to relax during this time. Because after that comes the big change. From the 15th of May until the 30th of June, Mars is in Cancer in first house. Now, to be honest, Mars in Cancer is not strong. Mars is actually in a full position in Cancer because it's strong in the opposite sign, Capricorn. So, Mars is not really powerful in this position, but it's still, boosting your energy. It can still push you to take action, to do something new. It may help you to feel more energized, to feel stronger and more confident. Of course, we're still gonna do that in the Cancer way. I mean, when Mars is in your first house, you are not becoming an Aries. You're still a Cancer, and you will act according to that energy. So in a soft way, in a gentle way, you may start something, probably slower than others, especially from Aries, but you may still do things, you may initiate things, and especially after the previous period when Mars is in 12th house, this is a big shift. So for new things, for starting projects, for practicing some sports, for example, this is a very positive position. After that, we have a very practical position when Mars enters second house from the 1st of July until the 17th of August. Mars in second house really helps you to concentrate on practical things which will improve your financial situation. You may literally work on something that will bring you money. You may focus on this area and be more active, be more initiative. So generally, this is also, period which can bring concrete results. So don't waste it. It might be a very productive time. After that, from the 18th of August until the 2nd of October, the transit Mars is in third house. Great time for communication with other people, for socializing more, for learning new things, new ideas, and those type of ideas should be applied. So it's not only about, thinking about something, but also taking action. So for travel also, this might be a great period for learning, we already said, communication, initiating negotiations or contacts. So for business and sales and those areas, this is a very positive transit. After that, from the 3rd of October until the 18th of November, Mars is in fourth house in Libra, also sign which is not strong for Mars, by the way. This is another period when you can relax, when it would be positive actually to slow down a little bit, to focus on more personal stuff, maybe to take care of your home, to do something, to improve your house or to fix something. For reconstructions, this is a positive transit, or to do something together with family members. But for some people also, this is, just a great period for relaxation. And then we have another period which is very, very positive. From the 19th of November until the end of the year, basically, Mars will be in Scorpio, a very strong position for Mars, and also in fifth house. Fifth house is one of my favorite houses because it represents the best things in life. It represents the things that you love, your romantic life, personal life, children, entertainment, creativity. So Mars in fifth house may really help you to take action. For example, to ask someone on a date, to be more active in your personal life, in your romantic life, to do something together for your children, for example, or to be more active in some creative projects, especially if you are a creative person, if you are an artist. This position of Mars may help you to take action, to do things. So pay attention, guys, that at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, Mars is in the signs of its rulership, Aries and Scorpio. So these are very positive periods. And also Mars is in an important house positions for Cancer. In 10th house, the house about career, achievements, social success. And at the end of the year, 5th house, the house related to your heart, to the things that are important for you personally, for creativity, for the most positive stuff, basically. So I think that the beginning and the end of the year might be very positive and successful. Okay, next we have Mercury Retrograde. If someone is late, you can always come back and watch the recording. It will be available. All right, so we have Mercury Retrograde. Just another thing before that, during 2019, Mars and Venus won't be retrograde, which is great news. 2018 was more challenging because of that. Of course, Mercury is retrograde each year, 3 or 4 times. 2019, we have 3 phases. First one is between the 5th of March and the 27th. Mercury will be retrograde in Pisces between the 30th and the 17th degree in 9th house. So pay attention if you have a cusp of a house or another planet here. But generally, this is a more supportive position because Mercury in this position will make trine with Cancer. So it's not so challenging, it's not so difficult. It means that you have to be more careful when it comes to some goals, plans for traveling, or some dreams that you may have. Generally not the best time to plan those things because you may need to change them after that. But on the other hand, it's a positive period to reassess things, to reassess your goals, to define what needs to be improved, or maybe you have a different perspective about things. So generally more focus, more attention on your goals and plans for the future. Education may also be a more challenging area during this period. After that, actually the most important period of the retrograde period, of course, between the 7th and the 30th of July, Mercury will be retrograde in Cancer, and first of all in Leo, and then it will go back to Cancer. So 5-degree Leo, 24 degrees in Cancer, in second and first house. So during the first half of the period, we need to be more careful with finances, material stuff. Not the best time for big purchases or something significant in financial area. And after that, when Mercury goes back to Cancer, it's in our first house, which means that we need to be more careful with our personal plans. We may reconsider or reassess some of our personal goals and plans and everything that we are doing. Not the best time to start brand new things. Actually, one of the worst possible times to start brand new things, personal projects during this time. So try to plan your things according to these periods if you can. And the last retrograde phase between the 31st of October and the 19th of November. Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio between the 28th and the 12th degree. This is also not so challenging because Mercury retrograde will make trine with Cancer. And when it affects the area of your fifth house, it means that you need to be more careful with your love life, with romantic things, but at the same time, something from the past might come back. So, for example, for restarting romances with people from your past, this might be a positive position for Mercury. Or let's say, restarting some kind of hobbies or things that you have enjoyed doing in the past. This is very, very positive. But generally, be careful with all kinds of risks that you are taking, with decisions about children, creative projects. What else? What else? Also, expenses. Big purchases, investing in something, buying something really expensive is related to your fifth house. So try to avoid that. Generally, we can say that during 2019, Mercury retrograde won't be so challenging for Cancer because it affects ninth and fifth house, the houses which are making positive aspect with your sign, with Cancer. Probably this period here during July can be the more challenging one when you need to reconsider many things about yourself. But generally, these are the houses, by the way, of the fire houses. First, fifth, and ninth house are fire houses, the houses related to taking action. So, some of the things that we need to change or reassess are our actions and how we do things. Okay, enough about Mercury. Now, we have to discuss only the aspects, the transits of the Sun and the transits of Venus. And this is actually the, well, I would say more positive part because here, when we talk about those positions, we don't talk about serious efforts. We don't talk about challenges or, serious difficulties. These are basically areas where you may feel more positive, where, excuse me, where things can be positive and you might be supported or feel optimistic or to start things. And generally, the sun is the main source of light, the main source of energy. That's why it can bring positive stuff when it triggers certain area. At the beginning of the year, the sun is in Capricorn until the 19th of January in 7th house. Important period for the area of relationships. We have the eclipses here around those days, by the way. So important period about relationships and partnerships. They might be a main focus, but decisions need to be made. It may require, as we said, more responsibility or certain changes or defining things better because we have Saturn here as well. So in one way or another, January until the 19th is about relationships and partnerships. After that, from the 20th of January until the 17th of February, the transit sun is in 8th house, one of the challenging positions. As we said, the sun doesn't bring difficulties, but when it moves to 8th house, we may look too serious on things. This is a time when, for example, you may focus on learning something, exploring, researching, improving your skills. You might be really focused. 8th house brings incredible passion. You might be so, interested in something that you might be obsessed about it. Not everyone, of course, if that's part of your personality, But generally, it's a time to focus on serious stuff, including finances and investments or money issues. After that, very positive period between the 18th of February and the 19th of March. The transit sun is in ninth house. This is a great transit, especially after the transit of the sun in eighth house. This is a great time for new goals, for new plans when you may feel more inspired. Great time for traveling, for learning, basically to focus on things that connect you with others. And also, as we said here, the sun makes trine with our natal sun or ascendant sign. So very supportive, very positive energy. After that, from the 20th of March until the 19th of April, the transit sun is in 10th house, one of those important positions. This is a time when you may focus on your career, on your social achievements, on achieving concrete visible results. 10th house makes things visible for others. So they may notice your work, they may appreciate more your efforts for new business, for applying for a promotion or starting something important. This is a very positive, harmonious position. Basically, one of the most important during the year. After that, the sun will move to 11th house from the 20th of April until the 20th of May. The sun is in 11th house, which is a positive position to focus on some social projects, something that you do together with others, something which includes your friends or a certain group of people, or something which has an impact on others. So groups, friends, communities. From the 21st of May until the 20th of June, the transit sun is in 12th house. This is a time when we need to slow down. This is a time when we need to relax. We need to, recharge ourselves. Many times people don't have so much energy when the sun is in 12th house. And that's normal because, you cannot always be on the maximum. You have to go through different phases. And it's perfectly okay to relax sometimes, to slow down. Some people have this problem to, slow down, including me. But I know that this is a necessary phase when you might be recharged, and after that you will be even more productive. So reassess the past 1 year, maybe find some areas that you want to improve. And the big change is here. June the 21st until July the 21st. The transit sun is in Cancer in first house. If you have your sun sign in Cancer, it means that it will be the time when you have your birthday and also your new solar revolution, which is basically a new direction for you for the next 1 year. And this is a very positive transit which brings you more energy, which brings you desire to take action, to socialize more with people. Here with the sun in 12th house, you may isolate yourself a little bit. There is nothing wrong with that, of course. And after that, with the sun in first house, you may feel a stronger desire to communicate with more people, to to be part of a certain group, or just to go outside and do something, maybe even attract more attention or do something remarkable. The level of energy, physical energy, is also much higher here. After that, from the 22nd of July until the 22nd of August, the transit sun is in second house. Time to focus on practical things, material issues, to achieve concrete, measurable results. Very important thing for second house. So whether it would be, improving your financial income, or organizing your personal stuff, or achieving some concrete results. For, of course, for different people, it could be different, but the main idea is to be practical and oriented on material stuff. And after that, from the 23rd of August until the 22nd of September, the transit sun is in third house. time for new ideas, time for more variety, more excitement, more communication with people. New contacts might be started, or new friendships, positive for negotiations, for traveling, for learning, for intellectual and mental work. And after that, from the 23rd of September until the 22nd of October, the transit sun is in fourth house. Fourth house, by the way, is the one associated with Cancer. So it's related to the family, home stuff. So positive time to spend more time with family, to do something at home. Sometimes also you may decide just to relax or to improve something which is, well, more about your personality, not necessarily visible for other people. And after that, we have another great period from the 23rd of October until the 21st of December. The transit sun is in Scorpio in fifth house, which means that also the most positive area in our lives, or one of the most positive areas, will be triggered. Great time for more entertainments, for, just enjoying life. You might be really passionate about doing something. Your romantic life may also be more interesting, more exciting. Great time for love, for romances, for spending time with your children, focusing on creativity, the things that you love and enjoy. So, great time. And after that, November the 22nd until December the 20th. The sun is in sixth house, which is a different position related to more work, more responsibilities, not so much fun like fifth house, not so much entertainment. This is a more serious phase when it would be great to focus on your work, on your achievements, on your responsibilities and health, and improving your physical condition. These are also mostly practical stuff. Sixth house is one of the earth houses, so practical results and rational approach. And the last few days of the year, after the 21st of December, the sun goes back to Capricorn again, and in seventh house for Cancer. So we have again the topic about relationships, very important, partnerships, communication with other people, basically the same like the beginning of the year. So that's about the transits of the sun. Okay, and we have the last slide, the most positive part about the transits of Venus and the specific combinations. Okay, I see that we have people with Sun and Ascendant in Cancer. So for you, this is a very important report. Okay. So the most positive part, the transits of Venus, the transits which show you where you can feel really happy and satisfied. When Venus triggers certain area, it's not about putting efforts, it's not about work or, real focus and concentration. It's about feeling comfortable, feeling nice, feeling positive, receiving things. So a great way to plan vacations, celebrations, or things which, are supposed to be fun. At the beginning of the year, for a couple of days until the 6th of January, Venus is in the fifth house. Very positive position for love, for romances, for dates. The Venus also will make trine with Cancer, so great time to go out with new people or to express your feelings or to focus on creativity and art and pleasant stuff. So one of the most positive positions is this one here, January until the 6th. After that, from January the 7th until February the 2nd, Venus is in sixth house. Time when you can focus more on work in a really positive way. When you may enjoy your work, when you may feel comfortable working. This transit may help you to improve communication with coworkers or with clients, and just to to enjoy, to maybe even to relax a little bit more when you're at work. After that, from the 3rd of February until the 28th, the transit Venus is in seventh house, one of the important positions because Venus is naturally associated to seventh house. So time to focus on relationships when your partner may surprise you with something, or if you are single, you can meet with someone, you might be attracted to another person. You may notice that other people also like you more. So one of those positive positions. After that, a more, let's say, neutral position between the 1st and the 25th of March, Venus is in 8th house. This transit is positive for financial things, for receiving support financially or some kind of resources from other people. Emotionally, this might be quite challenging. You might have issues with trusting people, or some kind of deeper experiences you may go through. So emotionally this might be more challenging, but for financial stuff and resources, this is a positive position, of course. After that, Venus will go to ninth house from the 26th of March until the 19th of April. Positive transit, actually great transit for traveling, for having fun abroad or with other people who are from different cultures. Also positive time to focus on your goals for dreams, and you may notice that also you may achieve your dreams easier without so much effort. So very positive time to concentrate on your goals and your perspective about the future. After that, from the 20th of April until the 14th of May, Venus is in 10th house. Important position for career achievements, for um, being capable of negotiating more with others, especially, of course, with authority figures or people with more power. Great time also when you may enjoy your work. You may feel more inspired. You may feel like you enjoy the working process, like, you achieve things easier. You have some kind of support in that area. So very, very positive time if you want to achieve something without so much effort. After that, from the 15th of May until the 7th of June, Venus is in 11th house. Great time for socializing, spending more time with friends. It doesn't have to be something about work. It doesn't have to be something about, something serious. Just, great time to go out and meet your friends and just enjoy their company, and, just be polite and nice with others. After that, from the 8th of June until the 2nd of July, Venus is in 12th house, one of those more passive periods when your romantic life may not be so exciting and, so interesting. This is a time when you may enjoy to stay more on your own, to focus on, personal stuff, maybe relaxing, maybe reading something, whatever you're interested in, but not necessarily to socialize so much with others. And after that, a big shift from the 3rd of July until the 26th. Venus is in Cancer in first house. One of those great transits when you may feel really happy, you may feel more love, you may feel connection with others, for relationships, for partnerships, for entertainments, for beauty stuff. This is a great transit. You may notice that you're more capable to make other people like you without serious efforts. You just attract their attention. So one of the important transits. After that, from the 27th of July until the 20th of August, Venus is in second house, also important position because Venus rules naturally second house. So for finances, this is a great transit. A great time to when you can, benefit financially from something, you can earn more money. You may enjoy spending money on something, by the way. Also, you may buy something nice for yourself when Venus is in second house, and it can make you feel really nice. After that, from the 21st of August until the 13th of September, Venus is in your third house, which can really help you to harmonize communication with other people. Great time for negotiations, great time for traveling, going on a trip or something which will make you feel nice. And also harmonizing relationship with people around you. It could be neighbors, it could be, co-workers, people that you meet on a daily basis, not necessarily friends. They could be friends, but it's not necessarily. So generally enjoy the company of others. From the 14th of September until the 7th of October, Venus is in fourth house. Very positive transit for family issues, for connecting with your family, for, maybe even improving certain confrontations or solving certain issues. Venus helps you to be more polite. Venus helps you to connect emotionally. So it's not necessarily about family members. You may just feel more comfortable staying at home, you know, being at the place where you feel you belong. And from the 8th of October until the 31st, Venus is in fifth house in Scorpio. Very positive position because it's about your love, it's about entertainment, it's about creativity and art and just enjoying life. Venus in Scorpio is not strong. Venus is in a detriment position in Scorpio, but the fact that it will make trine with your sign, with Cancer, and it will transit fifth house actually makes the transit much more positive. So emotionally, you might be really charged because of the sign. Scorpio is a very passionate sign. And you might just be more passionate about the things that you love, about your personal life, romantic stuff, children, creativity, which I believe is always great. From the 1st of November until the 24th, Venus is in sixth house. So basically, we are repeating here the beginning of the year, harmonizing transit for work and career, for negotiations with coworkers, with clients, relaxing more, improving the atmosphere at work, those type of things mainly. From the 25th of November until the 19th of December, Venus is in seventh house, important position. That's the house which is naturally associated to Venus. So time to focus on relationships, partnerships, and you may notice that you are much more emotional when it comes to interacting with other people. And the last transit after the 20th of December, Venus is in eighth house again. So time to focus on more serious stuff, time to focus maybe on financial issues. You may receive some kind of support during this period, by the way. So for resources and financial issues, this is a positive transit. And we have one more thing, basically the luckiest combinations during 2019. So the first one which we should remember is the conjunction between the Sun and Venus. There will be only one conjunction on the 14th of August, 22 degrees in Leo in your second house. This is one of the greatest combinations during the whole year. And in our case, it affects finances and resources. So if you can do something around this period, you may really benefit from it. Financially, in terms of resources, or receiving something, or building up something, or creating something. And keep in mind that, as we know, Venus rules second house. So Venus in second house is especially beneficial. So great time for resources. The other two lucky combinations are conjunctions between Venus and Jupiter, the two benefactors in astrology. The aspects will happen twice in January and November. The first one is the 22nd of January, 17 degrees in Sagittarius in 6th house. The second one is 24th of November, 29 degrees Sagittarius, also 6th house. So basically similar areas are affected, and it's a wonderful time for your career. Wonderful time to start new things, when you can be successful. It could be about, receiving support. It could be about feeling really emotional and passionate and optimistic and positive. So really great combination, the two benefactors together in one place. So these are the most important events, astrological influences during 2019. Honestly, I'm really excited as a Cancer. I'm also interested in all of those stuff. I expect the year to be really positive. I will be interested in hearing your expectations. Did you like the things that we discussed? Are you optimistic? Are you positive? And also, as we said, the 2019 astrology calendar is available. So if you would like to be even more prepared to get the heliacal phases, visibility of the planets for every day, for each planet, it will be really helpful. Also, you will get exact aspects between planets, their interpretation, donations, ingressions of planets with their meaning. So really, really helpful when you're planning something. So if you're interested, you can find the link below the video. Okay, so there are other people who are excited as well. I'm really happy about it. And don't forget also, guys, that with the North Node in first house, the initiative is from us. So we have to be, we have to change the things that we don't like or to do the things that we want. Otherwise, it would be really hard. So with that, I hope I was able to inspire you. I hope I was able to make you feel excited about next year. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to watch your sun and ascendant sign as well. All of the videos will be available on my channel after they are recorded. We're going to make a short break now because I have to travel, and next week from the 20th of November we are going to continue with Leo. So I hope you will excuse me, but everyone will get their extensive horoscopes. So thank you very much again for joining me. Don't forget that you can always come back and watch the video again for details, for reminders, and plan things according to the supportive energy of the stars. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you really soon.